pages or browse the internet, more often than not, 9 out of 10 hits, you will probably find people, freelancers, sitting in the comfort of their home and translating. And the one company that you would find would be ours. So that's probably what we have been able to do over the last 22 years, build a business out of what essentially still continues to be a very, very individual-centric activity. And now, for the last few years, we have even branched a little out from translation. So we are trying to offer an end-to-end service. So instead of restricting ourselves to translations only, we start right from documentation and then translation and DTP and printing. So trying to offer a range of services.
That was about the company, but how about a little bit about yourself?
I think I'll just like to say something, probably a small anecdote, something that happened about a few years ago. I got a call from the student from the Pune University Management Institute. So he said, "Sir, would you like to be the chief guest and inaugurate our entrepreneurship development cell?" I said, "Really?" I don't think I would call myself. Why would you want to call me? Because there are honestly better people to call, people who would probably give you a lot more mileage than I could. And the guy was quite convinced. He said, "Please come inaugurate the cell." And honestly, I've spoken enough number of times. I have no amount of stage pride. I can speak to 1,000 people or 2,000 people, so that didn't bother me. But for the first time in my life, I was actually scared. I said, what the hell am I going to say to these guys? In the sense, I'm used to talking about languages and this, that, the other. How does one go and say anything to students who are themselves MBAs or studying to be MBAs? And I was confused right till the time I held the mic in my hand, and then it just happened that I said all the right things. I said, I don't really know what I'm going to be able to share with you, but I can tell you my story. I can tell you that probably 15 years ago I was sitting there and now I'm sitting here. I can tell you how that happened. And if that in the bargain helps anybody, so be it, but I don't think there is any more to offer. So I think about myself, it's pretty much that. I don't know, I really thank all of you for coming here, because I'm not Shah Rukh Khan, so it really takes a lot of courage to get up and decide, okay, I want to go and hear what this guy has to say, and God knows which guy. A few people know me, not all of them, and that's really a problem. So now they want to know everything about me. But it's a choice I have made, so let's see how it goes. So yeah, I guess I didn't have much of a choice. In school, I was a pretty horrible student. I guess in this day and age, I would have been classified as a special student or something. I remember in the second standard, we had this classroom on the second floor. I'm an alumni of St. Vincent's High School in Pune itself. We have this big, huge windows. So, according to my height, usually I used to be sitting somewhere on the first bench, never even made it to the second one. So, on the first bench, I was sitting like this, looking out of the window, playing with my compass box. And that used to be the story pretty much all the time. My teacher absolutely had no clue what to do with me, so my parents were fairly regular visitors at school. So that's the kind of childhood I have had. I have not really enjoyed school, which is very strange, because 9 out of 10 people would say, "Oh wow, school was the best time of my life." And I think now is the best time of my life. I like it because I do not really have anybody telling me what to do. Which was pretty much what I hated about school. College was not as bad because people don't come and tell you what to do. So I guess that I am not particularly dumb. I didn't find myself to be dumb when I look at the kind of work I have done in the last 15 years. I don't see signs of being dumb. So I definitely wasn't really even interested. That seemed to be more of the problem. But the bottom line was, there were at least a few red lines in every report card. So much so that a few of my friends photocopied my 9th standard mark sheet, and they went to the school, which I don't want to name, because they had failed in the 9th standard, and then they said, if this guy can pass in Vincent's with these marks, I think you better need to reconsider your decision. So I was exemplary in all the wrong ways. I was exemplary in all the wrong ways. And I think this is how it really dawned upon me, and which is what I was speaking about earlier before I came in, that we had this option of taking up German. It would seem very logical for anybody to look at me and presume that, okay, if I am into languages for the last 22 years and I'm barely 43 now, so a large part of my life I've just spent with languages, then obviously I must have learned a foreign language in school, which was not the case, where I was shit scared. I said not one more red line on the report card. So German was out of the question. So Marathi it was. And that's really safe. I really found it very easy going. So that was the kind of background, and obviously it was pretty clear back in school that I had got nothing to do with maths and science. So if and when I made a career, it was definitely going to be with something else, and languages seemed something that I really liked. So that's how it really all started. So
That's interesting. So, but one is figuring out what you want to do, but in terms of being an entrepreneur, is that something you had decided long back, or was it again something you accidentally decided?
no, I guess I've never been an employee in the sense I'm talking about the mental state of being an employee, where you think like an employee. I remember the first instance when I ever tried to sell something was when I was in the 6th standard. That time Pune used to be a very nice place. I mean, you could leave your children who were 6th standard children out on the streets and just still be sure that they would come back. So I have pretty much roamed the streets of Pune, and I was coming back home and I saw this guy sitting on the footpath trying to sell purses. So I just found out the price. I found them all very attractive and colorful. For that age, God knows what it was, but still. And I came back home and I told my mom that, there's this guy who was selling something for some 10, 15, God knows what rupees. And I think I want to buy a few of them, and let's try selling them to people we know. I think if I look back, that very simple incident I can say was the reason I could ever become an entrepreneur. Because very easily my mother could have said, are you crazy, that's not happening. I'm not giving you any money and you're not selling this to anybody we know, and that's the end of the story. But somehow she didn't say that. She said, okay, let's give it a try. It's not easy, but I don't think you would realize it till you actually do it. And I was pretty convinced I was going to do a great job of it. So finally we bought some 3 or 4 purses. Needless to say, they were sold to aunts and aunties, and they really had no choice but to buy it. But I think somewhere I got the confidence that okay, I can buy and sell. And ever since I have been selling. So I probably after that, it was a very usual and typical thing to do. When I was in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th standard, I used to sell crackers. Now, the very interesting part here is that back then Pune was a place where people were a lot more judgmental than they are today. So when I take up something like arts, and when my father happens to be a doctor, that can easily be the talk of the entire street. The same goes for me going around selling stuff, which probably could hint that he's not doing too well, or something like that. It could have been. So, but fortunately nobody really stopped me, so even that happened. So I guess being an entrepreneur was something that came naturally, and even in college, I think the entire attitude of parents back then was "Amchakade magale नको." That was how most of my generation grew up. So whether or not our parents were rich, I don't really know, but they still managed to be richer than most of my friends, because most of my friends keep grumbling they don't have money, but their parents don't seem to ever grumble they don't have money. They give them fancy things on Diwali and stuff like that. God knows where they get the money from, because most of them actually made nothing more than 10,000, 15,000 as grand salaries back then, and they still managed to manage their money well. So I guess the entrepreneurship part of it is pretty ingrained, and I don't really think I have much to do with it, because that's how it was. So it's not like I made a special effort or something.
No, that's a great story. I think it's great to know certain incidents in your life sort of shape, and you can look back on that and point of things, and okay, that's something. I'd like to know a little bit about your company today. I mean, if you're comfortable sharing, can you tell us how big it is in terms of, let's say, revenue or